Jorge, it's really wonderful to have you here with us. 130 years, that's how long BMV has been an exchange operator in Mexico. It's amazing. And if you think back over the history of the exchange and you think about the role that the exchange has had in helping to modernize the economy and bring innovation into the economy, what are the ingredients and what has really driven that success for BMV over that history?
Well, I think 130 years it's a lot of time. The exchange has been through several different stages of consolidation. We are now an integrated group because we are a cash exchange, but also derivatives, OTC trading, and for all that, also the clearing part. That took 130 years to build. And right now we are in front of a great modernization stage, right? To take advantage of what's going on in the industry and to adopt new technologies to make our markets and our company even better.
I understand that in Mexico, the market cap of the companies that are listed on BMV is over $450 billion, at least, the latest information I've seen, which is remarkable. And thinking about the evolution of the economy and the diversification of the economy in Mexico, what do you think are the hallmarks of that economy and the diversification that we've seen as you've been looking at all of the companies that have come to market in Mexico?
That's maybe one of our biggest challenges because, although we have the most representative companies in Mexico, it's still a relatively small market cap compared with the GDP of Mexico. So one of our biggest challenges is how to bring more companies to be listed. We have also a very vibrant and active debt and bond market from corporates issuing debt. However, the challenge is to the capital formation, right, for Mexican companies. And to do that, we are working a lot, obviously, on our side with technology, working with the regulators to make that attractive for companies to go public, and market education, which is a big part of the activity we do every day. Market education, not only for investors, but also for companies, for them to learn the advantages of listing and raising money and capital from the public markets. That's a very important challenge. I'm sure you have that as well in this environment, in this global competition where large companies can go basically to a lot of places to do that, right? So we need to keep them in Mexico. And to do that, we need to offer them the best alternative for them to be listed in the market with us, right?
And in Mexico, innovation has been really a key part of the story of Mexico. It's particularly over the last 20 years. So maybe you tell us a little bit about how has innovation played a role in the economy in Mexico in recent decades?
Yeah, so we have some nice things to talk about. As an example, on the derivative side, we have one of the most active contracts traded. It trades in the OTC market, but it's cleared in the clearing houses that we are now going to be working with you on powering that clearing with Nasdaq technology. But on the derivative side, we have been adding some innovation to the markets, which is very important. We need to keep and increase liquidity locally. That's why we want to keep the clearing as a cornerstone in our strategy. But we have been innovating as well in providing local investors with international access. So in the Mexican exchange, in the Mexican cash markets, you can trade as a Mexican investor stocks that are listed originally in the US or in Europe, sometimes in Asia. So Mexican investors have access to more than 3,000 different names. And all that are traded in the exchange and cleared and settled in the domestic market as well. So that's why the clearing and settlement part comes as a very important piece of the service we provide. But that's one of the innovation that we provide. Plus, we are very happy to see also private equity, but listed. It sounds a little bit funny, private equity listed, but this is the way that some infrastructure projects can go to the market and be subject to be invested by large pension funds, because those are capital certificates listed in the exchange. So it's a way that we have been innovating into the market to provide financing to large infrastructure projects in Mexico.
That's an interesting part of the dialogue that we're having in the United States too, is how do you fund these large infrastructure projects? How do you bring private equity closer to and the public markets and the private markets closer together.
Right.
Yeah.
We have, on the institutional side, an enormous pool of assets. So we are very lucky for LATAM standards to have that $300 billion in assets from savings, from long-term pension funds, that they need to invest that in markets, in debt, but also because their horizon is long-term, they can invest in long-term projects. So that has been a very interesting thing and way to provide new instruments to the market.
Great. Well, let's shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit more about the partnership that Nasdaq and BMV have, particularly as we're being focused on post-trade and the clearing project we have together. Maybe you can talk a little bit about, you've already given us some insights into how you think about and how important clearing and settlement is to the innovation that you're bringing to markets. Then maybe talk a little bit more about the partnership and what has driven your interest in working with Nasdaq.
Sure. Well, you mentioned, Adina, that 130 years of history, and we have been developing technology ourselves, right? So when we moved to a full electronic market more than 25 years ago, the trading engine was built by the exchange team. The new trading engine was built by the exchange team. Same for the post-trade services. So all that infrastructure has been created and managed, developed by our technology teams. But now it's time to put everything together. I think it's a great opportunity to have the securities depository, the cash equities clearinghouse, the debt clearing and derivatives clearing all together. So that's why we are looking to use the best technology available to bring that and take this opportunity of many years of developing our own, but now it's time to put everything together on a much more efficient technology to be used by our clients, basically.
Well, we're very excited about it too. And it's always exciting for us to be able to work on something that's truly transformational for our clients. Because as you think about integrating those solutions together and bringing clearing into a more, what I would say, a more integrated experience for your customers, hopefully it'll also make it so it's more efficient and more effective in driving volumes and driving liquidity into the markets. We're very excited about working with other markets like BMV to make it so that you feel like you have a chance to bring the entire capital markets ecosystem to a new level.
That's exactly right. The opportunity of putting together the different markets and create the capital efficiencies that our customer needs.
So, Jorge, it's been just a wonderful time talking about the history of BMV, but also what's in the future for the exchange and for the capital markets. So, as my last question, when you think about developing an accessible and vibrant capital markets ecosystem in Mexico, what is your vision for the next 10 years?
I think we have a great future. One of our biggest ambitions are to offer integrated services to compete for flows, for international flows that are going to be used by Mexican companies. And we need to be very efficient from the technology point of view and just think about all what we can offer that now the banks and the customers are receiving from different providers sometimes inside the exchange. But now they will be able to enjoy with this new technology is not only for the exchange, but also we are exploring access to the cloud, for example. That's something relatively new for us that we are excited to explore with you as well, because our regulators and we are also learning on this process. So we want to offer that integrated services, particularly cash equities, but we are very interested in providing electronic trading as well for fixed income. And for that, we need a very efficient clearing to provide to international players that today are investing in Mexican bonds, in Mexican sovereign bonds, literally all around the globe, but they will be able to join a better price discovery mechanism through electronic. So I'm very excited about the future on the electronic trading on bonds. And to unite these two markets, the derivatives portion, right? Swaps, that we are working together in developing that, as well as the pure futures and options market that is still well underdeveloped in a market like Mexico. So those are our goals, to have a market, according to the size of our economy. That's our goal.